So from everything that's available in my repository, I'm able to delineate there, and then I can look topology versus all. Again, very, very specific about what I want to find. So there I was looking for a specific device that had Amplify, and that's what came up for me. And so from here we could, of course, dig in. Now the other option here are my global settings, and this is really where you're doing the configuration of Asset Core. Now, I'll show a couple things. Sometimes people ask, can you import my directory structure into this console? And that answer is yes. So you'll notice under administrators, I can create accounts inside of the Asset Core product, or I can import whatever your structure was in AD, and that you can kind of see here with the various trial zones and this ES admin. But here's where you're also going to decide what they have access to. So by way of example, we'll look at this security profile for my admin. And really the point here, there are, again, many objects, and here's where I'm saying what they're going to be able to do. If we contrast that to, let's say, this ES admin, you'll notice he is not having the ability for the patching, and I've restricted him for this remote control. So each object is going to have the security profile where you're either allowing them to view it, manage it, or you may have it where they can't see it at all. They have no access. All right, so let me close that. Same would be for my administrator groups, the rollouts. So we saw this on the administrator screen. This is where you're going to configure the agent that you need to deploy. We give you a few out of the box, so I'm hitting this standard template, and what you'll notice on the right is my ability to install. I have my client installs. I have my relay installs for both Windows, Linux, and my uninstalls. What that relay is the ability for me to fan out any of my applications. So be more aware, let's say, of the bandwidth. So if I have a disconnected or a strained link, if you will, to one of my remote sites, and I have 100 machines at that remote site, I would inject the relay. So I'm pushing it really across the wire once, and then the relay will serve it up for the rest of the devices on that particular link. So here you'll see the ability to build up my relays, and then, of course, I have my uninstalls. But like most other aspects, I could simply do a right-click and go through this wizard. And again, I'll just bring this up so you can see what the interface looks like. Here it's asking me what action are you trying to do. So we'll say install. If I'm doing any of my relay configurations, I have that ability. I'm going to hit next. I'm giving a name if it's going to be silent, and then there are my architectures. So what OS are you trying to deploy this out to? So you'll notice here I'm on step 2, and as we progress, it's really just, again, walking you through. So you don't have to be an expert. It's going to build up the package, and then you can deploy that package to your community. Let me go ahead and cancel. And I'm going to collapse my rollouts. And again, just a couple other things here. So this financial asset management, and we alluded to this in the last slide, you'll have this for all the devices that you import into Asset Core. So some of these are going to come in because I have the agent, some you discovered, but you can also import, if you will, from whatever mechanism you have. Once they come into the console, then you can potentially attach them to other devices that are inside of this console. So here, let me get into the default values. Again, these are defaults. You can add as you see fit, but you'll notice here I have my laptop as an example. And when you double-click, it might have gone to sleep on me. It basically is allowing you to get in and make the modifications. Yep, I've got a little bit of a delay here. And then I have my status, my lifecycle status. So if you want to add different statuses, you can do that. It's just a simple add, and then whatever else may occur. So at this point, because again, we're in the global setting, so now when we move forward to an actual device, this information is going to be available to us. The last thing I want to note here under the global settings is this external configuration. So if you have the Service Core product in-house today, it's just a simple come in and give it the credentials. And then, again, as I mentioned in the slide deck, that means from my incident inside of Service Core, I'm going to have some of these right-click options like the remote control, the delivery of software, etc. available. Remedy Force is the other one with that web service configuration. Okay, so here let me just collapse our view again. So there we kind of hit on the asset discovery, the topology. That's our view, and then we backed in and looked at a few of the global settings or those configurations that we would make. So at this point, let's kind of delve into a few of these other areas. So the device groups, this is always an interesting topic because here you'll notice I've come in or I've incorporated my Active Directory, but if you can see at the very top, I have inventory, and this inventory is for the whole English container. So anything that resides in this demo machines, this forest, the devices, any of those groups is what's reporting this inventory for me at this point. So kind of think of it as an overarching inventory. So here, let's open that, and I'm going to go into hardware and just cherry pick a couple items. So let's look computer system, and let's look manufacturer. So across that whole English container, I can see I've got some compact machines, some Dell machines, HP machines, etc. If we collapse that and look by model, just bring this down a little bit, I can see that Armada. Again, this I could double click and see what those machines are, but it's at this point laying out the different models. So I can look at it holistically, or let's just collapse this down. I can choose a certain group to go and look at. So here I've got my active demo machine, so I can see there I've got 2. And again, I've got the inventory for just those 2 machines, but we'll choose 1. And kind of look at and see some of the additional information here. So the direct access was one of the topics that we discussed in the deck. And so this is actually making a direct connection to that device, so I can see, as an example, the file system. So I can see there it's got a couple drives. For any of these, you'll notice if I wanted to, what I'm doing is right-clicking on a specific file, and I can delete, I can create directories, I can do a file transfer. So what this is bringing up now, if I needed to send files to that device really quickly from the console, this is my local device, so I could kind of nail down, if you will, and choose a certain file. So we'll choose a small one, maybe this one, and just choose a temp directory over there as an example, and just do a simple copy. So here I'll just hit the arrow. I can see that copies over. So file transfer, really quick and dirty. I also have the ability, I'm going to collapse that file system. My registry, so if you have technicians, we'll call these senior technicians that need to make some type of registry change on a machine, they're going to be able to dig right into the registry and change whatever keys are necessary. My services. So this one is neat because I can see real time what services are on that machine. Now again, if I have one that's run rogue, let's say this audio as an example, I'm going to right click, and then what I can do is restart this service. I can stop this service. If I double click on it, what it's allowing me to do is change the startup types. So I think I've got a window here that's hidden from me. We'll come and find that in just a second. But the point here is I'm seeing the services on that machine real time and then making any manipulations that I need to. Same thing for the process management and the Windows events. That's going to pull those in real time and, again, allow you to make whatever corrective action that you need. Remote control, so I alluded to this as well. So here we'll just go ahead and hit remote control. So this is, and I've turned off the need for them to allow the communication back and forth. But here I've connected and done a remote control session with this box. So don't have to swivel out, bring up another tool. I can do it right from this console. And then here at the top, you'll have some actions that you can take. Again, that file transfer will be here as well, but that 3-finger salute, again, everything that's available here in this toolbar. Point here, again, just showing you really quickly from the console my ability to do a remote control session with that box. This also would be an option that is available from your ITSM application. Okay, so here let's go ahead and disconnect. So now we're back into the main console here, and I'm going to hit the inventory. Now again, this is just looking for or across this one machine. So I'm no longer looking at the hive, if you will, all machines. I'm digging in and looking at this one box. So here I've got my hardware makeup. I'm going to take this over a little bit. I'm just going to scroll down. And, I mean, we can look at it from this summary view, but, of course, you'll notice there's a hardware hive where we can look, and this is kind of where we were looking before to get the specifics. I'll touch on this overarching view first. So here if we hit the software, I can see really quickly a couple of things. So here it's grabbing my add and remove programs only, but I can back this up. Maybe we wanted to see what kind of browser was installed. Again, really quickly, I see, okay, they're running IE8, candidate for upgrade, so we can take them to the latest version. I can look at all, and you'll notice this list is going to get very exhaustive. So now I've got 415 entries. So again, because we're utilizing WMI to interrogate that machine, I can see what's falling in the add and remove programs. I can see just the applications, or I can kind of look at it from a holistic view and look at every piece of software on that machine. So here I'm going to switch it really quickly to the application, and I go down to the 397 entries. Okay, moving across the tabs. For this one machine, I've got some security settings. And when we say security, it's things like the antivirus. So you can see there the manufacturer, the version, the firewall status. In this particular instance, I can see it's disabled, but it's just using the one that's included with the operating system. Okay. And then my compliance. So again, and we'll see this when we get into the compliance tab just below, but there are criteria that lets me know if anti-spyware is installed and if it's up to date. So I can see this one is not up to date. I can see it has antivirus installed, but again, it's not up to date. So with respect to the compliance on this machine, there's a little work to be done. Okay. Here, again, if we were to look at it from the left view, so it lets me dig in and look at specific information regarding the hardware. So if we wanted to come in and look at the computer system, we already know this because of that icon, where it's the open, it's a virtual machine, but it's just, again, indicating that for me inside of the actual inventory. I'm going to collapse the hardware. Any of my patches. So here, really quickly, I could see the patches that are missing for this machine. So I can see it on the actual device, or as the icons indicated on the deck, I have a patch manager module where I'm going to be able to look at it across the environment. Okay. Let's go to financial asset management for this device. And so we can see there we've entered like the status. I can see the asset tag, my warranty cost, my support cost. And here I have some of my attachments as well. So I'm going to right-click and click on a quick view. And what this is bringing up is any attachments that you've associated financially with this particular asset. So that's just, again, a quick invoice.